Hi there, I'm Gloria Makarenko, and we are celebrating all things retro today, from sports to party decor. Everything old is new again, and this is our Vancouver. Coming up, blossoms mean more than pretty pictures to many people. And fans of the Nat have plenty of opportunities to cheer their baseball team again. But first, from jetting around the world to building fun experiences closer to home, a pandemic pivot for one White Rock businesswoman. Now, the pandemic had many people rethinking their lives. So many industries had furloughed employees for long stretches, including the travel industry. Well, Dori Giffin has left the travel world to focus on her new hospitality business. It's Boho on the go. And Dori joins us now from White Rock. Hello there.
Hi, how are you?
I am doing really well. So take us back to, the early pandemic for you. What happened to your line of work?
It came to a screeching halt. Yeah, I'd been in the industry since '97, and March of 2020, I just got the call and said, "Are you willing to be one of the first to get furloughed?" And I'm like, "Absolutely." Single, no kids, no commitments. So I'm like, "Sure, I'll be the first one to put my hand up so we could save the jobs for the people that already, had kids and families to look after."
Okay, and then what? I mean, at what point did you think you needed to maybe make a change?
Kind of almost right away, because I had been talking to quite a few friends in the travel industry, and we had kind of talked about kind of what it was going to look like, because I kind of had a little bit of inside scoop, and I knew that this was going to be a few years. So I thought, you know what, midlife crisis, if you want to call it, but in my early 50s, I'm like, you know what, maybe this is my sign just to take a complete 180 and go off into something else.
And that 180 led you to a mobile bar. So how did that come about?
Well, I've always been in the service industry my whole entire life. And I just thought it was so great of an idea to bring some happiness back into people's lives. And I had traveled so many places around the world and had received incredible hospitality through, different companies, different hosting, tours and things like that. And I thought, you know what, I really want to be able to give that back.
I see. Well, let's talk about Brook then, shall we? This mobile bar. What kinds of events does Brook provide?
Well, the main one would be weddings and special events. So what I do is I bring her to the event and set her all up, and then just serve cocktails, mocktails. I've done that. I've also set her up at an art fair this Christmas. I've also served like hot chocolate and teas and everything at a Christmas market at the Kensington Prairie Farm. So she's pretty ambidextrous, I would say.
So who are some of the groups that book her?
There's wedding groups. I've got a 50-year-old party happening in May. I've had like Mendy parties. I've had birthday parties. And then the other thing that I'm going to be doing too is working with some of the local breweries and wineries and distilleries here, and just do like festivals once they kind of get up and running again.
Well, Brook has style, we have to say. So how would you describe the kind of ambiance you want to create?
Definitely laid back, easygoing, bohemian, chic kind of vibe.
And everything in between. I think
Yeah.
You've got it. I think you've got it. Now, I understand you also have a 1967 Volkswagen van in the shop right now, but you've got some big plans for that vehicle. So where are you planning to take that?
I do. So she's also going to be doing some wine tours, beer tours through like the Langley area, and photo shoots. And then there's welcome to the neighborhood tours I'm going to be offering to, let's say, realtors. So once, their clients buy their homes, it'd be like a great way for me to pick them up, drive them around White Rock, and show them all the little hidden secrets.
Now, it can't be easy setting up a new business with so much uncertainty around the pandemic and just the business details itself. What kinds of challenges have you had?
How long do you have?
Okay.
No.
For starters.
No, you know what? This time off has really, it's been a saving grace, just to kind of get like all my ducks in a row, because I'm a bit OCD and just like everything just, can't have it perfect, but close enough. And so, it's just getting things tweaked on my bus. Like I just wanted everything upgraded. I got a brand new engine put in. I got tired of, losing a race to like a lawnmower. Like she was pretty slow out of the gate. So I thought, you know what, I need to bring up all of the safety with her. And I got some disc brakes put in. So to be honest, like the 2 years has been fantastic for me, just to like work out all the kinks. So once, everything has been lifted, we can just, out of the gate and away we go.
I love it. And does the van have a name?
Her name is Rio.
Rio, okay. Have a wonderful summer.
Hey, gal, so it was like Duran Duran's song. So, I always say when she shines, she really shows you all she has.
I love it. I love it. I love your attitude and your optimism. We wish you the best of luck from Boho and beyond, okay?
Thank you so much.
This is our Vancouver.
All right, it's time for one of our favorite features. This is where we get to showcase a number of the photographs sent in by you, our audience. First up, Lori Stockbrugger was out walking in the spring weather and looked up to see this set of swans in flight. They're called a wedge of swans when they fly like that. And from looking at this, you can see why. Just wonderful. Thank you, Lori. And Andre Litvak was being creative with 2 cameras here, a smartphone and a regular camera, to get this unique view of the digital whale sculpture near the convention center. Well done, Andre. Thank you. And finally, Shiva Tajik was out for a night walk, took in the city lights. Doesn't it just look gorgeous? Shiva, thank you so, so much. And do send us more when you're out and about with your cameras. Send in your favorite shots to us by email, bcphotos@cbc.ca. Once again, bcphotos@cbc.ca. Well, photographers have also been out capturing the blossoms in full bloom. And for many, this is a telltale sign spring is here. But as Janella Hamilton reports, for some, the plant has a deep significance.
Bursts of pink and white cherry blossoms fill Van Dusen Botanical Garden, each beautiful bud creating a picture-perfect backdrop.
It's sakura season, so it would be a nice opportunity to take photos.
Diana Tu and Dinny Chen are among hundreds of people taking in this weekend's Sakura Days.
We both are fans of Japanese culture, and we thought it would be fun to check out the food and the performances.
And they're not alone. Organizers say this is the largest turnout they've ever had.
It's the first time we're running an in-person event after 2 years, and there's so many cherry trees. It's very rare that we actually have the festival running when the cherry trees are in full bloom, so we're very excited.
The event is put on in partnership with the Vancouver Cherry Blossom Festival to celebrate the city's diverse history and cultures.
First cherry blossom trees came to Vancouver in the 1930s. They were a gift of the people of Japan, and it was to commemorate and memorialize the Canadian Japanese soldiers who had fought in World War I.
Now, he says more than 43,000 cherry blossom trees line Vancouver streets, a sight that brings back fond childhood memories for Yuriko Kanemura.
I'm very happy when I see cherry blossom when I do tea ceremony.
Kanemura says tea ceremony traditions date back more than 1,200 years.
Before we enter tea ceremony room, we start to cleanse our mind, appreciate nature.
Much like tea, cherry blossom trees are also deep-rooted in Japanese culture, a symbol of renewal as a new season begins.
The cherry blossom is like as fleeting as our own lives, and so the idea is to just capture every moment.
Learning about the intricacies of each tree is one of the activities people can take in at this year's festival, which wraps up April 23rd.
It's really the celebration of the city getting to re-emerge, just like these blossoms are.
Janella Hamilton, CBC News, Vancouver.
Janella, thank you so much for that story. Well, it is Easter weekend, and if you've been to Jericho Beach lately, you've probably noticed hundreds of bunny rabbits dotting the landscape. The problem is, yeah, they're cute, but the unwelcome bunny boom has the city warning people to stop feeding them. Our Anita Bath took a look.
So Jericho's always had a bunny problem. What is it about this year that's making it so much worse?
At this time of year, we're coming up on Easter, and we know that the population of rabbits here are kind of a legacy population of people's released pets. A lot of the time people will go out and buy a bunny rabbit around Easter time thinking that it's going to be a good pet, not realizing what a commitment it actually is. They can live 10 to 15 years. And so one of the key messages we try to share this time of year is it's not a kindness to release your pets into city parks.
You know, when I see a bunny in my backyard, it usually runs away. These bunnies were so close. I mean, I'd like to walk and just get a little bit closer to them, but they don't move. They seem to be very used to humans. So what do you recommend for people who come here and want to get close to them, because they are darn cute?
They are cute, yeah, and it's totally okay to admire the bunnies from a safe distance. One of the issues that we have at Jericho is people coming and feeding and touching the rabbits, and that's not an appropriate way to interact with wildlife. We want to be able to keep a respectful distance from the rabbits. So taking a look at them from here, you know, from a few yards away is totally okay. Just don't kind of approach them and get in their space.
Now, you just talked about feeding them. I know you had mentioned to me earlier that bringing over carrots and lettuce, that's not okay to do. Can you talk about why, and then tell us what they should be eating around here?
Yeah, well, this rabbit population actually is not native to the area. So what they're often eating are plants that we try to plant at the park board doing restoration efforts. So native species that we plant trying to support other kinds of wildlife that would also like to use this space as a home. That would be kind of what a rabbit without being fed would normally eat. But what these rabbits are being fed often is things like crackers or, as you said, carrots people will bring down, and it's really not natural for their systems, and oftentimes we'll see kind of disease issues, malnourishment, and other things coming up with these fed rabbit populations.
Well, let's get into that a little bit, the disease portion of it, because, okay, so I am standing pretty close to this rabbit. Is there any concern about disease if you're this far away, and if not, when does disease become a concern, and what disease?
Yeah, this far away, I mean, this is a little bit safer when we're thinking about things like Lyme disease. So we want to prevent people from touching the rabbits or any kind of wildlife, because many kinds of wild animals can have ticks on them. The other concern, when people leave food down for rabbits, that food is also enjoyed by mice and rats and other critters that might carry hantavirus and other sorts of deadly diseases for people. So,
okay, thank you so much for your time. Now I am going to stay here and just enjoy. Maria, I want you to look at this because there's so many rabbits all around us. They are amazing.
Coming up, Johanna Wagstaffe will be here with the bad, the ugly, and the good on methane.
Although not as big a contributor to global warming as CO2, methane is much more potent. In fact, it's warmed global temperatures 0.5 degrees of our 1.1 warming since the Industrial Revolution. So the fact that methane levels have doubled since the 19th century, reaching record jumps in the past year, is an alarming trend. I want to show you the sources of methane around the world, which is different for different regions. For example, we see the most methane coming from agriculture and rice cultivation in places like India and Asia. For China, it's new fossil fuel projects, and for North America, it is some leaking methane from fossil fuel projects, but mainly natural sources and from the melting of the permafrost, releasing methane layers there. So that's the bad and the ugly. The good Even though methane is 25 times more potent at trapping heat than CO2, it doesn't last nearly as long, sticking around for 9 years rather than the thousands of years that CO2 can stay in the atmosphere. And that's why at COP26 in Glasgow in 2021, nations around the world, including Canada, agreed to target methane as part of plans to reduce overall emissions, sort of considering it low-hanging fruit, because if we can cut emissions, not only will that stop that percentage of temperatures warming, it will actually lead to a cooling effect from that percentage of methane in the atmosphere. As far as how we're going to get countries around the world to cut methane, accountability will be key. And the fact that we do have monitoring systems, NASA has been successfully monitoring since 1983, that will help with accountability and policy making. And that should hopefully be part of the solution. And now, your Science Mark. If you have a science question, send me a tweet and I'll try to get it answered.
Johanna, thanks so much. Hi there, I'm Gloria Makarenko, and this is Our Vancouver. There is going to be so much more to do this summer. After 2 years of playing away, Canadians baseball games are back at Nat Bailey Stadium. Well, Tyler Zickel is the voice of the team, and he is the broadcasting and media relations manager. Tyler, hello there.
Hey there, so great to be with you. And yes, indeed, C's baseball back at the Nat. April 19th, it's getting closer by the minute.
Okay, but you're not there right now. The Canadians are on the road. So where are you?
Yes, I'm coming to you live from the hotel room here in Pasco, Washington, where the Canadians are getting set for their second of 6 consecutive games against the Los Angeles Angels affiliate out here in the Tri-Cities after starting the season in Spokane. So Game 5 tonight, it'll be 9 games and 10 games on the road to start the year, and then that home opener on Tuesday to get us back where we belong.
Well, thank you for taking time anyway, even from the hotel room. This is great. And we know that Nat Bailey, it's one of the prettiest stadium settings on the continent. What does the place mean to the team?
The building's been there for 70 years. It connects generations, multiple iterations of the Vancouver Canadians franchise, and for grandparents and then parents and now children to be able to have experiences at the ballpark speaks volumes. Our manager, Brent LaValle, is from North Delta. He used to go to the Nat as a kid. And so the fact he's the manager now is just one small example of how much the building and the team means, not just to Vancouver and the Lower Mainland, but the entire province.
Yeah, but what about the advantage as well? And yes, the setting is important because it is so beautiful there. But what does it mean to be playing in front of a hometown crowd again?
Well, we got certainly a less than enjoyable lesson in what it's like to not be in front of the home faithful last year, playing down in Hillsborough, sharing the facility with another team in our league. So having 6,000 plus night in, night out, pulling for you really makes a difference for these players. They've heard all about what life at the Nat is like. We have a few guys who played at Nat Bailey before when the team was at a lower level in the system for the Blue Jays. And so they are itching to get back and have those nights at the ballpark with 6,000 plus screaming and cheering and supporting them.
All right, Tyler, what about the team's prospects for the season ahead? Any particular players we should keep our eye on?
Yeah, some exciting players. Each team in Major League Baseball has a top 30 prospect list. The Canadians have 6, a couple of infielders, and 4 starting pitchers. So whether it's pitching or defense you love, there are players to watch. Leo Jimenez, Miguel Geraldo, Adam Klopfenstein, Sem Robersa, and on and on and on. Great group of guys, and even not those guys in the top 30 list. Lots of good athletes this year on the club.
How fun. So how are you keeping people safe and comfortable as you welcome the crowds back for the first time since the pre-COVID days?
Absolutely. Well, we have the benefit of being an open air venue. So that's the first way that we're able to certainly get all that fresh air everybody can enjoy. Some procedures are still in place around the ballpark, in the bathrooms and places such as that, where people are going to congregate a little more closely. And there's a new bag policy as well to look out for general fan safety. Pandemic or no pandemic, safety is at the top of our mind. So when fans come to the ballpark, you will see those options and available amenities to make sure that everybody can have a fun and safe time at the ballpark.
Okay, when you talk about the fun, of course, the game on its own is entertainment enough, but what other kinds of activities have you got planned for the home games?
Well, of course, if you love baseball, we got that for you. But even for a non-baseball fan, the Nat is the place to be this summer. Something for everybody every day of the week, Tuesday through Sunday. If you like day games, we've got the Nooners brought to you by Fortis BC back on Fridays at 1:05. April and since we're playing those this year, well, you can join us on Saturday for a Saturday Nat and Day. So back-to-back day game Friday, Saturday, and A&W Family Fun Sundays back in course this year as well. Fans will remember kids can run the bases, mascot fun. Once the weather warms up even more, root beer floats will be a part of things as well, and plenty of giveaways for the young and old alike. So whatever you might be your flavor when it comes to a ballpark or a sporting event, we've got you covered. And of course, Sushi Race, it's back, it's better than ever, and plenty of food and beverages for all sorts of taste, whether you like your classic hot dog or something a little more adventurous like pulled pork tautine. We've got it for you.
And that, great baseball, great fun. It's a great package and all happening at the Nat. Tyler, thank you very much. Have a great season.
Thank you. We'll see you at the ballpark.
I'm Anastasia, and you're watching Our Vancouver.
If you want to go and see some live music and you're still a lover of the 80s new wave, Vancouver's Strange Advance are out of retirement and playing the Hollywood Theatre April 26th. And Toronto's Hawksley Workman also plays Hollywood Theatre the 28th of April.
Hey, Grant Lawrence here from CBC Music with some big news. The results are in for Canada Listens, the CBC's musical cousin to the long-running Canada Reads, turning up some very passionate debate about the one album Canada needs to hear in 2022. Here's the records that were in the running as chosen by our celebrity panelists.
I got a family to feed. There's room for everyone to eat. I was all about the peace. I didn't want to risk it all. Oh, I know what's at stake, but you made yourself special. I want to throw my life away for you.
A life for the way my life has gone. A life for the love of a friend. A life for the fools in the eyes of the world. That will never end. I'm out of love, I'm out of tears. Small wonder after 3 long years. Stop waiting by the phone for you to call. And some days I don't even think of you at all.
All right, so those were the songs from the 5 albums in the running for this year's Canada Listens. That was Jack Soul from their album Sleepless, championed by Kim Roberts right over there. Before that, Bruce Cockburn from his album Further Adventures Of, championed by Survivor man Les Stroud. Also in there was Mustafa's album When Smoke Rises, championed by comedian David Merhedge, and Rhea May was championed by Team Canada soccer goalie Stephanie Labbé. And Crown Lands was championed by poet Erica Violet Lee. The debate ran all week long on CBC Music Mornings, and we finally came to a winning decision, which was in itself a record-breaking tie. That's right. Never before in the history of Canada Reads or Canada Listens has there ever been a tie, but it happened this year. Both Crown Lands, championed by Erica Violet Lee, and Mustafa's When Smoke Rises, championed by David Merhedge, have been crowned winners of Canada Listens 2022 as the two albums Canada needs to hear. Congratulations to those two great artists. For more, go to cbc.ca/Canada Listens. I'm Grant Lawrence. Keep listening, and I'll check in with you again soon.
Now, coming up, we are invited into the home of a Surrey family marking Ramadan with their nightly feast. Hi there, welcome back to Our Vancouver. I'm Gloria Makarenko. Now, the holy month of Ramadan is observed by 1.8 billion Muslims around the world. Yet the nightly feasts and rituals are deeply personal to each family. So we go now to one home in Surrey to see how Mariam Herro and her family are marking this important time.
نجهز لرمضان. ولا شرب ولا أي نوع من الأكل ولا أي نوع من المشروبات في رمضان. فساعة الإفطار راح تكون أكل متنوع.
Non-Muslim people think of Ramadan as kind of punishment, right? Because why you spend all these hours and no food or water? They don't know the main idea of fasting in Ramadan, which is feeling in people who are in need. I don't really want people to think we are suffering in Ramadan. We are from Syria. We came to Canada from Lebanon 6 years ago.
Mariam, my daughter. I have two daughters, Mariam and Maria, and 3 boys, Ali and Ahmed and Omran.
My sister got married and she has a girl now. She's 45 days old. I used to love more Ramadan in Syria.
Allahu Akbar.
You feel Ramadan more in Syria. Here in Canada, because we are kind of, you can say alone, the only family who's fasting here, maybe in my neighborhood. So it's kind of tough. But it is still very meaningful for me. In Ramadan, we have special meals. It's called Uzi, right, Mom? Yeah, it's Uzi. So we brush the filo pastry with the ghee, and then you can fill it with some nuts, meat, and the rice with carrots, green beans. So fattah is very popular in Syria, and Syrian families love to have it. First of all, the pita bread, and then chickpeas, yogurt with tahini and garlic, and then the hot ghee on top. Yeah, this dish is called fatteh. We break the fast with dates. We have special kinds of drinks. We have a special dessert. And they are actually connected to Ramadan because they help you to get energy. It was very hard in the beginning when we came to Canada. You have to learn a new language, you have to find a job, you have to study. But it was the most challenging thing to find friends. But when we get to know more people, life became easier.
This is really night of Ramadan because we always expect someone to come at night. Miriam, say hi. Yeah, you have to. تعي عادي خلقتها.
اهلين اهلين وسهلين. اهلا وسهلا. امبارح ما قال لهم لسه وينها مريم ما مبينه. خلص يعني صرنا كيف؟
كلنا بيجي بقول لهم حكوا مع ريا شوفوا وينها كيفك ابو حماد.
At the end of the day, you don't want to break your fasting alone.
هاتي لك هاتي.
بدك تلفي هيك.
التجربة الاجتماعية.
رمضان استقامة، بعلمك كيف تكوني أكثر جيدة، كيف تسامحي، كيف تشعري بكل اللي حواليك، تكون قلبك كتير كبير.
حلو أحلى والله العظيم كتير حلو ما عنا أحلى. لا وحياة الله أنا حابة
I have never imagined that we're gonna have war in Syria. But when the war started in Syria, to be honest, I was very weak. I couldn't imagine like I can go to the street and cover or take photos or videos of what going on. Maybe because I was, it was very emotional for me, you know, like my family or my friends, and it's real, it's here close to me. I can't do anything. But when I came to Canada, I started majoring in journalism. I said, yeah, thanks God, I'll be a journalist, and one day I'll talk to the world what we have been through in Syria. We have a special meal before the sunrises. It's called al-suhoor. And then we pray. This is what Ramadan means for us. It's a new start.
Coming up, the search for more space to play disc golf in Vancouver. You are watching Our Vancouver. I'm Gloria Makarenko. Now, fans of disc golf say the sport is exploding in popularity in the Vancouver area. A one-day pop-up event was held last weekend in Rupert Park, and as Benit Brach reports, players say there is growing demand for more courses right across the city.
What happens when you take a frisbee-like disc to the golf course? Disc golf, and it's booming in Vancouver.
We had about 200 slots available and it sold out in less than 5 minutes. There is a huge demand.
While this was a pop-up course, players and advocates like Gagan Singh are on a mission to have more space to play.
It's turning into more pop-ups, not just at Rupert. Stanley Park would be great. Not only just that, for tourism as well.
So the rules are pretty similar to golf, but instead of hitting a ball, you're going to putt this disc. Close enough. The goal is to try and get your frisbee into the basket in as few throws as possible. So why is it so popular?
It's a sport that you can play for free. It's actually very low cost. It's a sport that people can play together. Because of the pandemic, it's exploded. You know, it's an outdoor, it's a safe sport.
It's a growing escape for those new to the sport.
Disc golf has turned in for more of a therapy for me. Like, it really started out just something I was doing in the pandemic.
I'd say I'm so excited to see a pop-up course here.
And those well-seasoned like Chris Robson.
I've been playing for 22, 23 years. And in the last year and a half, it has exploded.
And with that hot demand, advocates say more needs to be done to satisfy the hunger for the sport.
There's an appetite for paid courses. Because with paid courses, you get access to a bit more privacy. You get access to food and concessions. You get access to washrooms.
There are 3 disc golf courses in Vancouver, one in Queen Elizabeth Park, another in Jericho Hill, which Singh says is set to close within 5 years due to development, and Quilchena. But advocates say it's a tough course to play and not really safe as it's set along walkways.
The current infrastructure isn't able to support the growth.
But the park board says more opportunity is a possibility.
Hopefully it'll lead to more. There's obviously great demand. There's over 200 people here today. And hopefully we can go around the city with these pop-ups.
In the meantime, many took to this course on a sunny day, focusing, aiming, and hitting the chains. Benit Brach, CBC News, Vancouver.
I'm Dan, this is Eat Chicken Wraps. You are watching our Vancouver. There we go. Thank you. You're welcome, man.
Benit, thank you so much for that story. Now, NHL playoffs are coming soon, and this is always something to look forward to, even when your home team isn't doing all that well. Any hockey can be fun to watch, but 30 years ago, the play was on pause for a 10-day players' strike. It ended with much relief just as the playoffs began. CBC's Alan Garr brought us that story.
How did you feel when you heard the strike was over last night?
Great.
Fans in Vancouver who were grumpy 2 days ago are happy once more, lining up for tickets, speculating on just who will be in the playoffs.
I think it'll be Montreal and Vancouver.
And while players like Ryan Walter were back being the idols they've always been for young fans, the fans were just reveling in it.
Okay, sign my shirt too.
And everywhere in the league, they were stretching and straining. Muscles idled by a 10-day strike now must be prepared for a battle players feel much more comfortable with.
Oh, it's pretty exciting. You could see the guys had a lot of jump. Everybody was excited to be back on the ice, and we're just glad it's all over.
In the early moments of this morning, with the season and the playoffs on the line, with the possible loss of millions of dollars and dreams of Stanley Cup victory fading fast, finally there was a deal.
We came to a meeting of the minds with respect to the essential provisions and have reached an agreement in principle.
Mr. Goodnow, what are you going to tell your players when they ask, what did we get for going out on strike for 10 days that we wouldn't otherwise have gotten?
Improved free agency, licensing. There's a whole array of accomplishments that were there. And I can guarantee this will be no problem with the players understanding what happened, what transpired as a result of the negotiations.
The players did not get a contract for as long as they wanted. It's 2 years. And the movement on free agency, the ability of players to change teams, was only loosened slightly. But there is no cap on salaries, something the league once wanted. And the players now have control over licensing revenues, the money for everything from playing cards to buttons. The NHL started this year by celebrating its 75-year history. What it didn't count on was an incredibly hard-nosed set of negotiations and an unprecedented strike. Events that not only point at the league's past, but set it on a new course for the future. Knowlton?
Well, Alan, what is that new course for the future?
Well, it's a course where the players are going to have a much bigger say in how the league is run and be able to put a lot more dollars in their pocket. And I think we saw that in the kinds of demands they made and the kinds of victories they had at the bargaining table, particularly around the area of licensing and the money that comes from things like cards and buttons and so on.
Is there going to be any residue of anger left over from this strike?
Well, I'm certain there is some now. Just before the Leafs had their afternoon practice, I spoke with Leaf defenseman Ken Baumgartner, and it's his first strike, as it is for many of these people here, and he wanted to know if you always got left with a bad taste in your mouth. So I think that, as in many disputes like this, that happens, and it takes quite a while to get over it.
Okay, Alan, thanks very much.
Thank you, Knowlton.
Hello, my name is Jeanette, and this is our Vancouver.
Hi, this is Margaret Gallagher from CBC, and I'm about to go snowboarding at Mount Seymour, and then I'm going to go in the water not too long from now. And I'm on the lift. It's nice out here, and it's so quiet. Okay, see you at the bottom. Okay, I finished snowboarding and I'm gonna go kayaking. Here we go. Okay, I made it down from Mount Seymour and now I'm in Deep Cove and I'm about to go kayaking with Bob Putnam.
Hi everybody, beautiful day. There's our boats.
Okay.
Down there.
There we go. Oh, it's so pretty. This is awesome. Woo! Well, I'm just gonna do this tweet. From the slopes to the sea. Okay. Hello. Thank you. Whoa. My goodness, great. Thanks. Well, there you have it. I snowboarded and kayaked all in the same afternoon. Welcome to spring in Vancouver.
When we bring you these stories here at CBC Vancouver, we have award-winning photographers out capturing the images that say so much. Still images can add context and bring a lot more to the understanding of an event or an issue. So here are some of the latest images from what happened this past week. And that's all for Our Vancouver for this week. I hope you can join me weekday afternoons on CBC Radio 1 for On the Coast. Bye for now.